Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Periscope Podcast. And just as you know, on this show, we try to explore the depth of every conversation and uncover the truth behind it all. Today's episode will be no different because, and it is particularly important, especially at a time when youthful leadership is being questioned. But we now have youth who not only rise to the challenge, but they've also been able to redefine what it means to lead with vision, to lead with passion, to lead with creativity. On the show today, I have a very important guest. And this guest happens to be the former student union president of the most sought after university in Nigeria, University of Ilorin. And while he was in school, he was able to achieve a lot of incredible things. And he was able to transition from that atmosphere of student unionism to the world of real estate, which is a structured world. This amazing individual is a co-founder of Orbit Africa Properties. And at Orbit Africa Properties, they don't just build structures. They try to create affordable and modern living for Nigerians at large. So allow me to welcome on the show, comrade, or should I say, Mr. Okoko Wisdom, popularly addressed as Passion. Welcome on the show, brother.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good afternoon.
It is such a delight to have you on the show today.
Thank you very much, sir.
Actually, I've been looking forward to having you on the show, and I'm so glad that we are finally having this conversation. So let's dive straight into the conversation.
Very well.
For those of us that went to University of Ilorin between 2016 to 2020, 2021, 2022, we knew who Passion was. Maybe those that came after us, they may not know. But they met one thing. That's a legacy. So for those of us that were there at the time when the history was recorded, we knew who he was. But for the purpose of those that do not know Passion, but only met the legacy, I want to put this question to you. Who was Wisdom? Or should I say Passion? Before unionism, before politics, before the real estate? Who was he?
Okay. Thank you very much for that question. Once again, I want to say that I'm honored to be on your platform this afternoon.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so I was this young man raised by a single mom. I grew up in the north central part of Nigeria. And then that guy that did not have access
Who
to
stayed in North Central?
Okay, yes. At the time, I was in Nasarawa State. At the time,
Nasarawa.
I was in
Or
Abuja.
where were you born exactly?
I was born in Abuja.
In Abuja?
Yes, in Gerike, Abuja.
Okay, but you lived most of your life in Nasarawa.
Yes, I know. At the time, I was just
At the time,
transitioning.
okay.
Yes. I was transitioning. At the time, I was in Niger, Nasarawa, Abuja, just around. Yeah.
Before you gained admission into
Yes, before I
University of
came to
Ilorin.
University of Ilorin.
Okay, so continue.
Yes, so just this young child who did not have. Yes, I wrote my story in my first book, Undaunted, where I really explained how I was raised by my mom and then my grandma in loving memory of her. And then they tried their best to give me the amenities or basic amenities to grow at that stage of life. Just to paint a very scenario, I remember when I was about going into secondary school, the school fees was 60,000, and then my mom could only afford about 15,000 naira because of how much she was collecting from the job that she was doing, even with the federal government. And I remember that time that we had to get the shorty who was a staff of the school to come and stand and tell the school that please just allow this boy to get into the school. If his mother does not pay the school fees at the appropriate time, you can remove it from my salary. In places of what you don't do. Hey, you understand? And she stood for me, and that was how I got into Abuja School of Accountancy and Computer Studies, which gave me the bedrock for every leadership traits and opportunity that I have today. So basically, that was all about. That's just the summary of what my beginning was. Yeah.
You just said you gained admission into Abuja School of
Yeah.
Leadership. Was that before you gained admission to University of Ilorin?
Yeah, it's actually this is one of the best secondary school
Okay.
in Abuja. It's called Abuja School of Accountancy and
Accountancy, yeah.
Computer Studies.
Studies,
It's
okay.
short formed ASACS. Yeah, it's the only school in Abuja that has a polytechnic, which you call Abuja Polytechnic or Doben Polytechnic.
Okay.
So at that time, it was one of the best schools. And my mom really wanted me to go to that school, even if she could not afford it. And then we had to go through all that process to make sure that I came out from that school.
So the process of building that leadership capabilities or the capacities,
Yeah,
did not just start at University of Ilorin.
no,
It has started long before
Yeah.
you even gained.
it started at my secondary school level.
Okay.
I remember that at that I was supposed to be given the head boy because of so much responsibilities. I was holding about 7 prefect position. I was the sport prefect, I was the dining prefect, I was the hostel prefect, a chapel prefect.
Oh, we are getting paid for
A lot. No, this is a secondary school, and it was all because of the energy. They just see the
Exactly.
energy, the commitment. This guy just wants to always sacrifice and zeal and all that. And they gave me all those positions. And at the time I was graduating from that school, I remember at my SS3, I was handed over an iPad. I was given a scholarship by the owner of the school. He didn't want me to go. And all that.
What year was that?
So this was 2013.
2013.
When
And you're given an iPad.
Yes, in 2013.
2013. You're the secondary school student.
Yes. At that time, I did not even have a phone. But because of the commitment, the man I gave me that present. I will never forget Dr. A.B. Ekwere. You understand? Yes, that was the owner of the school. Yeah.
So if Dr. A.B. Ekwere is hearing us today, thank you for grooming all the best young Nigerians out there.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
So let's move a bit further. Was there any moment of doubt while you're growing up before you later found clarity in leadership or even entrepreneurship? Like, was there any moment where you were in doubt? Like, ask yourself questions like, can I do this? Can I pull this off? Am I made for leadership roles or entrepreneurship route and all? Like, was there any moment when you had been doubt obvious?
Yes, there was a moment of doubt, and I will never forget. It was when I wrote my first JAM, and when I wrote my first JAM, I passed this cutoff. I applied to University of Ilorin. I passed the cutoff mark, and that boy that was celebrated all in school and all that, and I did not get the admission.
Wow.
And I was heartbroken.
What
I left
was that?
the house.
What course?
I applied for public health
Okay.
at that time.
Okay.
Yes. And I was heartbroken. I was devastated. And I left the house for 2 days at that time. And I will never forget, I went to one of my spiritual leaders at that time in person of Dr. Paul Eneche, which was Dynamics Church. I just went there, no food. I was just crying. I did not have a phone. Nobody even knew where I went to. And it was at that point that I started challenging my life. That
Even as a young secondary school
yeah,
student,
at my secondary school. In short, my mom was looking for me. Everybody was looking for me. But
were you declared innocent?
you said?
Were you declared
So
innocent?
no, I was not. It was just 2 days. It was just 2 days, and I just really went to isolate, and I went to also talk to my creator. That's what is it? What is life for me? And just a little brief. The next year, I was called that I got an admission to Nasarawa State Polytechnic, right? And I did not apply into the school. It is still one of the wonders to my life till today. I had somebody who was in the school. I didn't apply to the school. He went to the board and then he said that my name was on the admission list. And that was how I left Abuja at that time. I rushed to Nasarawa to go and check my name and all that. My name was on the list. And after leaving Abuja, going to Nasarawa, I didn't come back to Abuja until I finished my ND program. And then some of the leadership qualities we had at the secondary school level, we also used it at the Polytechnic at that time. I remember my first appearance on national TV, on NTA, on AIT, was when I was in Nasarawa State Polytechnic last year. That was between 2004 and 2014, end of 2014.
So while you were there, did you hold any leadership role?
Oh yes, I was the president of National Association of Science and Technology Students of Nasarawa
State
chapter, right? And then I was also a member of the Senate committee of the Polytechnic. for students. And so those were some of the little positions that we also at that time used to help students, strengthen students, and so that's just my secondary school and polytechnic journey. Yeah, thank you.
Everyone calls you passion. If they don't any longer, at least I knew when we were back then at University of Ilorin, I knew passion. Some will say passionate passion.
Yeah.
So where did that nickname come from? Was it a moment? Was it a nickname? What really inspired that name? Passion.
Okay, so let me give a very practical scenario. So I remember when I came into the University of Ilorin, in short, my second day on campus, I went around the Senate building and I saw a lot of students. Students were complaining at that time that, when they were filling their jam, maybe the person who filled their jam, where they were supposed to write B2, they wrote B3.
Yeah, I did some of them thing. I saw it as well.
Here, and the university felt like those students that did that at that time, because it was as if they were giving the university false information about the result that they got and all that. So I saw that scenario. I went to my department, and then we also saw some students also complaining that, oh, they could not pay acceptance fee, and they could not pay. That time the university was still giving tab.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
could not pay tab fee, and some of all those.
I think they paid about maybe around 80,000.
Yes, it was yeah, but tab at that I used to remember very well.
Yeah,
And so at the instance of some of all these things, and then with my leadership experience, I gathered a few of some of the people in my class at that time. I remember people like Omojowo Abraham, I remember Yemisi, I remember Praise, and some other persons. I gathered them and I said, we could actually do something for these people. Yes, we don't have money. That we could actually go from lecture theaters to beg for funds.
Are you saying all of this happened when you just gained admission?
When I gained admission in my 100 level.
Second day.
Yes. No, the first day when I came to campus, not to Ilorin, when I came to campus, right? And then we went, myself and some of these people I just mentioned, we went from faculty to, it was not a one-day team, you understand? I think the first day, we just did it among ourselves. Then the second day, we said, okay, we can take this thing a little bit further and all that. And at that time, we were able to raise about 45,000 from give us 15 naira, give us 100 naira, some people give you 1,000.
Like, was money collected from the students?
Yes, we were begging for alms, very practically. And so this money that we got, we were able to support about 3 students at that time who were supposed to drop out. You understand? And we supported them with the money we begged. And that was now the beginning of what my NGO, which was just passion concept. Wow. So I had an NGO in 100 level, which was just passion concept. After that exercise, I just felt that, okay, we should have a platform where, this was not my first time in a tertiary environment, because I went to a polytechnic.
So you were able to transfer that leadership experience.
Do you understand? I already had an idea of what a tertiary environment was all about, unlike a freebie who was just coming in from JAM. So I started the NGO, and then the focus of the NGO at that time was to see how we can help students who don't have school fees to pay.
When you contested for the students in your president, you did so independently. No caucus was backing you. No one believed you could even win that election. Even myself, I could remember there was a time the car drove me out of the Faculty of Education Park. And when I was going to the faculty, I met you there. You were standing, you were saying, I'm passionate. I was like, this man cannot imagine. Because, at University of Ilorin, there is a kind of political order. You have caucuses, you have some caucuses within the school, and all of these caucuses, they try to anoint their candidates. But at that time, you are an independent candidate. I know I imagined you could pull that off. How did you do it? What made you to challenge that existing political order as at that time?
Yeah, thank you very much. There are a couple of factors that really helped my emergence, and
Because I really want to hear about it.
I think about it and it just continues to amaze me. So Number one is that the mind of a man must be made up, and his mind must be made up on time. When you have a vision and you have a focus, you have outlined for yourself, you start on time. And let me tell you that my vision for the University of Ilorin presidency started in my 100 level. And I told you about the NGO we started in 100 level. And as a means of thinking about how do I contribute my quota to students' improvement, and then how do I make sure that I impact students at whatever level that I have, we started an NGO, just passion concept. And in my 100 level, I isolated myself and I got an idea that I should write letters to all the class reps of all the departments.
Even at 100 level.
At 100 level. And I wrote letters to about 14 faculty class reps at that time who were in my level, in 100 level. And I still have a copy of the letter in my file. I keep some of them. I was looking at my dog, my sister, and I gave it to them. And what I told them was that give me one student in your faculty from whatever department who is brilliant, who is humanitarian in nature, who can always sacrifice. Just recommend anybody to me. And I think at that time, maybe only 3 faculties responded to me because it just looked like, what is this guy level? I'm not a level student. For 100 level. Do you understand? I'm writing a letter. You understand? So I didn't get so much response. So what I did was that I intentionally, personally on my own, started combing faculties, getting people that we could go on this mission together. And it was very simple. From 100 level, we started teaching tutorials. I will never forget EDLT. I was taking tutorials in EDLT. I was also taking tutorials every Friday, HKELR4. If you have anybody who is a student of the health promotion department, human kinetics department, we're taking faculty lectures, departmental lecture and all that. These were tutorials free of charge. Nobody was paying us, nobody was doing anything. Now, I made sure that every of my faculty directors, so those people I got, I call them faculty directors in the NGO. So I made sure that every of those individuals and the faculty directors were embarking on the same humanitarian service.
Were they aware that they were faculty directors?
Yes. I told them from the NGO that we are calling them faculty directors. So we had directors from agric, we had from physical science, from management sciences, all the faculties. So we're just having maybe pharmacy and basic med because of distance and all that. And then we're having meetings like maybe once in a month. And I will not forget that time we buy Zubo, we buy Egro. On Skyway, we used to have our meeting in Skyway. So all our directors will come together. We'll please encourage them that please let us go back to our faculty. Let's help students. Let's see how we can do tutorials.
So who was enjoying all of those menus and all that?
For the menu, I was funding them. Right? But for the tutorials, it was more of a sacrificial thing. Exactly. So I had people who were doing tutorials. We were also, now I also get jobs.
So everyone was contributing whatever they could based on their strength.
What they could, yeah.
Based on their strength.
On their strength. And then we also used to go and do outside job. Right? At that time, I still have pictures. We go and do ushering. So when they are doing a wedding, for example, I know that we're connected to like 2 event planners. When they are doing a wedding, just call me, Wisdom, call your people. They can come and do ushers. And at the end, they will give us 2,000. They'll give us 3,000. I'm a sabonje. You get what I'm trying to say? So we went to about maybe 6 or 7 weddings because we were going for a source of livelihood. We're going to raise money. So we're not going to dance. We're going to serve food. In short, the first time I met the Vice Chancellor of University of Ilorin was where I was serving him tea.
That was on Professor...
That was
Ambali.
That was Professor
Ambali.
Yes, Professor Ambali was when I was serving him tea, because the company I was working with at that time got the contract for University of Ilorin convocation to cook there, and I was part of the people that served and washed plates in that place. So that was the first. I'm just trying to give you this picture. So we were doing this across all faculties, all departments, and fast forward to when I now came to 300 level, when it was now time to come out for SUG president. Now, you said something about CACOS.
Exactly.
Yes, you may really call it CACOS. Some people call it some of all those things, but I just feel that it's just normal.
Exactly.
For you to elect a leader, a group of people must come together. People who have like minds together. So these people come together, they have like minds, they pick their leader. These people come together, they have like mind, they pick their leader. So me too, my NGO, we came together and they picked me that I should also go for
Represent
the student union president. Fact, we did not have strength. And that was the truth. We didn't have strength. We didn't have all the influence. We didn't have any Baba Saleh because we were just doing
it was very obvious, as I think.
It was, yes, it was very, I remember that it was on the morning that the form was going to close. That was when I paid for 10,000 naira to buy form for student union president. On that morning, I can never forget. I did not print banners until one day the campaign was to close. That was when I printed banner and I put at the park. You understand? For the election. So it was such a marvel to me. But we came up with some strategies. We had some strategies. I had some foot soldiers. There were people that they looked at me and they felt like, even if this guy does not belong to the APC and PDP of Nigeria, as you call it, he does not belong to any caucus in the university. But he has done something for us. At one time, he has given us money to pay school fees. At one time, he has taught us tutorials. At one time, he has done something for us. And these guys came out. And the strategy we used was that every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday, we come to the university park by 6 a.m. in the morning. And as people are coming down from bus, coming down from Uruguay, we're telling them good morning with passion.
That was when I knew passion.
I'm sure that was me saying good with passion. We were meeting people, we're telling them good morning with passion. And some people just look and say that, who is passion? What's passion? Be like, don't worry. That time they had not lifted ban. So be like, no, they had not lifted ban. So we could not say passion is test side for it. We're just saying good morning with passion, good afternoon with passion. So now when they still be like, when they was, they just say, what's passion? What people will ask that question, but we say, don't worry, very soon we get to know. So we had that strategy, and I had foot soldiers. At the time we had some money, we bought t-shirts, and then we printed for those people, and they wrote it at the front of their shirts. Good morning with passion. They also wrote it at the back. So we come with that t-shirt. Some people will be at Faculty of Education entrance. Some people will be at the main university park, and I will also be with them, and we're greeting people. So that was the strategy we're using to just spread the name passion. And when the election time came closer, I remember that at the faculty we were about 3 who were going out from a faculty, which drastically reduced our faculty strength, especially with other faculties, because at that time the candidacy now rose to about 7. So we had 7 people contesting for SUG.
Because I remember Olu was there.
Yes, Olu was there. Myself and Olu was the major. It was supposed to be Olu, myself and
even myself, I was supporting
Olu at the time. Yes, and they did what we call a faculty screening. They did a faculty screening, and I was screened out that I should step down Olu to contest. And I told them, I said, when Olu was contesting for Senate of the Faculty of Education, a year before that time, it's 200 level. I said, I was part of the major supporters of Olu. And I didn't contest for senator. I didn't contest with him because I just felt like, okay, you should go. Me, I have an ambition next year. So it was like a raw Peter to people. But when the time came, he also said he wanted to go. You know how power is. So we all went there. We did the screening, and they stepped me down. I will never forget. The faculty, you call them faculty stakeholders. In short, there was a name they called them at that time. I know that people like T. Baba and Abistosun, they will remember the name the faculty was being. They set up a committee, and they called. So I was stepped down, and I told them at that meeting, I said, the truth is that there is no basis for actually stepping me down. If you call us and you ask us questions and you ask us screening, I was responsive and all that. And I remember that I cried.
You wanted a fair.
Yes, I wanted a fair play.
Exactly.
Like, let's go to the field. I know what I have done since my 100 level till now, and I can't keep an ambition for 300 for 3 years and then just ask me to just settle down. So I cried before all the faculty leaders, and I walked out on them in that meeting. And when I walked out on them, I went to the mountain, the university praying ground, and for 3 days I was there without food, and I was just crying because my ambition was about to be dashed, right? And when I was crying and also praying as a Christian, I received a word that you have good that you want to do for people. If they collect it, good for them. If they don't collect it, you put your good back in your pocket. It's not for you to gain. So I was not going for SUG president because I wanted to make money, because I wanted to
satisfy your past.
Yes, you understand. So it was me who wanted giving. So I made a resolve in that. After that time I spent with myself praying that no matter what will happen, I will go. It's better that I go and I fail than to coward out and step down.
That was what made you to defy. That was what made you to defy that political order.
That's what you called it. But me, what I just really felt was this was a man who had determination,
That vision,
who had vision, who had conviction,
and was passionate about.
and so for sure, you understand. He can have passion, and the
Right.
truth is that I know that wherever there is a vision, there will always be provision. There were people that were now rising to now say, "Oh,
When you won my heart,
Yeah.
was at the student union presidential debate.
yeah, that was it."
That was where you won so many people
That
over.
was where I was able to.
Because we were talking about all the things you've done when you were in your level. So I think you did something like for the disabled community and all that. So you did all this, sign language.
That NGO, we were doing free sign language class at that time every Wednesday at 5 p.m.
5 p.m.
We also did empowerment for the disabled. Ability, you called it ability in disability. That was a program I did, and I got support of over 300,000 plus my own contributions. We bought foodstuffs and all that. We distributed to students on campus who had special needs. We call them special needs students, not disabled students. You understand? Special needs, those who have eye conditions, those who cannot walk properly and all that. We got foodstuff for them. We got aid for them. We got glasses and all that. And we did that support. Real. And so we did that thing for them in 200 level. And so these were some of the things that made some people to see, someone who did not hold, I was not holding any position. I was also a normal student. Somebody who did not have any position, a normal student who comes out to do all of this. Nobody is funding me. Nobody is paying me. It was as if I was from a rich home. Everything I was doing was me go and hustle. Let me tell you, at one time, I was going to peel cashew in town here. There's a cashew factory. I finished lecture at 5 p.m. I resume at that place at 9 p.m. in the night.
When you were still a student?
As a student. We peel cashew from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning. Now, the cashew that we were peeling, I still have pictures. We peel cashew. Then when you peel till 5, the number of cashew you have peeled, they will now measure it. Per kg was 20 naira. Sometimes between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. in the morning, we can peel like 6 kg. Sometimes we can peel like 10 kg. We can peel like 15 kg. Now they pay us, they will bring a card, they give us 20 naira. We will now have to go to the hostel. Now, bath. If you have time to rest, you can rest small. But most times you don't have time to rest. You bath and then you go for lectures. And sometimes we are dozing in class. And somebody is just looking at us like we are dozing. You don't know that throughout the night, I was hustling. You understand? Because I also knew where I came from. So this way, and I have students at that time. I had students who also joined me on that trip. Sometimes we go there because I also now gathered students who could not fend for themselves, who were looking to empower themselves. Yes, I think we got over 60 students. We used to get Soludero bus to come to Tankage, to come to Tipper Garage, and all the students who were interested, who were looking for one or two things, they would join us in that bus. We'll go to that factory by 9 p.m. They will drop us there. We'll start walking. We'll wear our jackets, and we'll walk from 9 p.m. in the morning. And the bus will take us, Soludero will take us back to Tipper Garage. We'll go home. Those of us that have lecture, we'll go for lecture. Those that don't have lecture, they'll go home and go and
But
rest.
doing all of this, how were you to manage this with your academics? Because at the time when you were a student, I was also a student.
Yeah.
And if you could start to work at the factory at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Because even when I wasn't going to any factory, it wasn't easy managing both academics with school stress and all. So you did it anyways.
How? So I would like to just say to those who are listening to this podcast that the truth is that on your journey to success and achievement of your vision, you can never underplay the role of hard work. You must be a hard worker. Yes, there is smart work, but the truth is that it takes a required level of hard work to transition into smart work. In short, you must have worked hard for a period of time before you understand how to work smart. Now, and so I was a hard worker. So I was taking tutorials. Most times I could tell you I was sleeping. I work, you understand? Then I come to school. I take tutorials every Friday.
Managed NGO
in school. Then I still have the NGOs. Then I still have my book that I was going to read. So what helped me was that in my 100 level, I got a very, very, I was very close. All my three unit course, I got an A, right? So my GP was very, very high. It's normal that as you move up the ladder, your GP will be declined. You understand? So what helped me was that in my 100 level, I had a very, very good, I was close to a first class in my 100 level. So it helped me very, so as I was getting more busier in 200 level to really relax. Yes, not really relax, but I was not dropping too much. You understand? So when I drop, I still graduated with a 2-1. Yes, sir. I still graduated with a 2-1. You understand? But I know that if not because of all the involvement, I would have maybe graduated with a first class.
As a graduate of health education, you find yourself in the real estate world. That's such a bold leap. How did you do that? Because as a graduate of health education, finding himself in the real estate world, I'm trying to find the correlation between both.
Okay, so like I say, like every of my life journey has continued to be a wonder, even to me, right? So when I finished as student union president, I can tell you that I had a lot of connections. I knew a lot of bank managers, company managers, politicians.
I think that's one of the things that position offers.
Yeah, you
get access to some.
My mom at that time was working with the federal government. She was working with national hospital, also in the health sector. Now, I could easily go to any of these big people I know and say, I'm looking for a job. Please give me a job. That was an offer my mom was telling me I should come to Abuja, should help me get a job in the hospital. I should come and work with the federal government for job security and all that. I looked, but one thing I did was that I looked at all these people calling me, and I just really told myself that I don't think this is the kind of life I really want. I think I really want something a little bit better, especially for some of us that had responsibilities resting on our shoulders. You understand? You really wanted to do more. So what I did at that time was that I messaged one of my mentor in person of Lukman Shobowale, and I told him that I admire everything that you are doing in Lagos. I celebrate you and all that. That I want to come and be your errand boy for free. I mean, I wanted to come and work for you as your personal assistant, and I don't want you to pay me anything. Don't pay me, don't give me house, don't give me anything. I wanted to volunteer for you.
Wow.
And he was really surprised. Like, president have all this impact, have all this connection.
The names and
how do you call me and say you want to come and be with me? And that was the beginning of my mentorship journey, protege journey. And that's the basis on which my second book is anchored on, which is called Protege. Now, the truth is that for you to actually rise in life, you must have a mentor, a role model you are looking at. There is nothing you want to achieve that somebody has not achieved before. You must understand that. Now, either closely or by distance, there should be somebody you are looking at. There should be something you are looking at that should be able to provide you with a guide.
Some people have gone through that route
before. Somebody should be able to hold your hand. To cut the long story short, that was how it was with cold feet, because at that time I had never been to Lagos. I had gone to Lagos once on a visit, but I've never stayed in Lagos. And this was me saying I wanted to come and work with somebody for free in Lagos. To cut the long story short, I met people like Taiwo Adebayo, who also advised me that it's a good step. It may look rough at the beginning, but the capacity that you have, your capacity is too big for Ilorin. Take it to Lagos. You understand? And it was not because he was undermining Ilorin, but just really feel Lagos is the place of hustle and bustle. With the kind of energy that you have, you try more in Lagos. So to cut the long story short, that was how I left Ilorin. I went to Lagos. I got a few of my friends who were already staying in Lagos. About 5 of them. So we contributed money together, 150,000, and we rented a 1-bedroom in Lekki. And I can tell you that in that room there was no bed in that room, because the rent at that time was about 650,000 for 1 bedroom.
1 bedroom.
Yes, just toilets. There was no kitchen at that time. So we got that place and we were all staying in that place. So I wake up from that place and I go meet my oga, as we'll call it, because I was not a boy. I was driving, I was going on site inspection, I was doing that voluntarily. But see, but as I was doing all these things voluntarily, I was also learning I was also following. I was also seeing how things are being done. And that is mentorship. You understand? Then he was also counseling me. Sometimes he would caution me, how do you behave like this? Why do you do this like this? This is not how to dress. This is not how to talk. This is not how to do this. So I was getting lessons firsthand. So I got the theoretical. It was as if I got a theoretical part in school. But this one was not a lecture of like the real world. I was being lectured in the real world. And it was really not easy, I can tell you. And I've recently understood that there is nothing great that starts great. Everything great starts small. Yes. Everything that will be big tomorrow will start small today.
You just have to start from somewhere.
And you must have to start from somewhere. So at that time, I remember that sometimes I eat once in a day. Sometimes I buy yam and in nylon, and then they put, in short, recently I still went to the woman that used to sell the yam for me, fried yam. I love this so much. And that was what I was eating at that time. I want to say about the old memory. And they put pomo for me, 100 naira. And sometimes when I eat all of this, and you see, and you know, people just for me and they be like, SU president. I be like, hey, you are the president. With all this connection.
Exactly.
But you see, I really enjoyed it. I knew what I was. So let me tell you very practically at that time. I was in a relationship. I lost 2 relationships at that time. Because
That's where
when I was in Lagos, yes. Because the money was not coming. The attention. Sometimes I'm with my boss till 12 in the night. I'm with him, and it's not just PA in office. It is PA even to the house.
Oh.
So I'm with him till when he now say he wants to sleep. That's when I now go. And then you resume in the morning. So it was a dedicated service. I did that for 6 months. And let me tell you, when I did that for 6 months, doors opened up for me. I got an opportunity to work in Apapa where I was going to be earning over 400,000. I should have already had an employment letter. And my boss told me that with the way I've served him, he does not want me to go, bro. And to cut that long story short, the 6 months of service that I was supposed to do with him now became 2 years. I had to stay more with him and all that for about 2 years.
And learn the business.
So I learned the business. So for 2 years of so between 2021, 2022 into 2023, that was what I was focused in, right? And I was learning the business. I was learning the act. I was studied. And if anybody tell you that it was a sweet journey, is a lie. It was a very, very rough journey. But I thank God that I gave my pain, I gave my pressure, I gave my time to that stage of my life. And that was how I transitioned from not using my certificate, you understand, to look for a job into the business world, into the real estate world.
So you ended up becoming the boss of your own. Because I could remember there was a time, I think, should we say you transitioned from an errand boy to, because there was a time I saw a flyer also where you were the director of sales for Dukiya Investment.
Thank you. So the thing was that I rose from being a PA to being the head of sales in the organization. And that was because of my dedication. At that time, I brought over 500 people to work with the organization. The money we brought, no, with my team. Okay. The money we brought into the organization at that time was over 600 million in real estate sales. Because I had the impact, I had the platform, and now I was now working in sales. So I brought in a lot of people. And some of the real estate people you see in Ilorin, you see in Ibadan today, you see in Lagos today, some of them, a few of them, came through that pipeline. They came in as just, how come I joined class? We trained them. Right. At that time, we were doing training for 6 months, 8:30 in the morning, 8:30 in the evening, every day. Training in sales. We're learning how to sell. We're doing the act of sales. And I can tell you that from being, let me just come and work for you for 6 months, I was able to travel out of Nigeria. I was able to get my first car. The first house I rented for over 1.3 million, I was able to do that at that level before I now came out and then had my own company. Thank you.
That's such an inspiring story. And
thank you.
I believe anyone listening to this will feel inspired. Because so many people believe all of a sudden passion just, those that didn't know the story, they believe passion just out of nowhere, it just became who he is today. He's co-founder of Orbit Africa Properties. Or they didn't know you had to go through the process.
So I don't know if this is going to be recorded, but so I drove my car somewhere yesterday, and I'm not trying to blow my trumpet.
Yeah.
But My car is not, this is million from my car is not 10 million, my car is not 20 million, my car is not 30 million. You understand? I'm talking about the start of my car. And then somebody
That Lexus, right?
somebody just looked at me and just gave me the eye of, this boy don't do rich power. Skip it. This guy don't. And I just laughed. You see, not every everybody sees the glory. Not everybody sees the story. There is a story for every glory that you see shining today. Thank you.
At present, Nigeria housing deficit is around 20 million units. And the interpretation of that is that the housing or the houses are not getting down to those that truly needs it. So the question is, do you think this is do you think the developers are really not concerned about or not interested in affordability, or is just a policy failure from the government?
Okay, so talking about real estate, let me first of all just quickly introduce because that's my sector.
Is that the sector?
The
So I want
co-founder
to go into that.
Orbit Africa Properties, a real estate company. We're based in Lagos with our head office, and then we have a vision for Africa. And currently now we have projects in Lagos, Oyo State, Kwara State, Ogun State, and also the Federal Capital Territory.
That's how many states in total?
That's about 5 states.
5 states,
right?
Okay.
And it gives me or will I say the fact that I'm a co-founder in the company gives me a scope of what is happening in the Nigerian real estate sector. And going to your question, and you talk about housing, yes, housing deficits, and all that, I can tell you that it's not because the federal government is happy with the situation, but the truth is that the major developers and players in the real estate sectors in Nigeria are private individuals. Individuals who are in the business, who are in the space to make money of it. They're there for business. And the truth is that we are not, developers are not humanitarian. They want to build houses for poor people because poor people may not be able to afford it. And that is where I feel that the government should come in with policies. Policies that provide housing subsidies to reduce the cost of houses so that a poor man can, through the government, get subsidy on owning a house, on house rent. Are we together? On just getting a roof over their head, right? Another thing that the government can also do to make sure that this house gets to the poor people, as you call it, I don't know, house of people where you say poor, right? But to make sure that,
or should we say the low income earners?
Maybe low income earners. Thank you for that more appropriate word. Is that there should be a PPP, a public-private partnership, right? Whereby the governments are, for example, providing the land. They're providing hectares of land. And you're saying, private developers, come and build on this land. Don't pay anything. Well, the strand that governments are the owner of lands, according to the constitution.
Exactly.
Provide lands. Because a developer who buys land from the government and pays millions of naira to buy the land, when he builds anything on the land, both the cost of buying the land, the cost of construction, he will factor everything in to whatever he will sell the house at, right? So if there is a PPP and the government is giving developers access to land, maybe free land, or maybe land at subsidized rate, and say, we're giving you this land so that you can build a mass housing scheme, 100,000 houses, and then you build it, and then so that the low-income earners can also be beneficiary. That is going to help. Another thing is that the government should also implement policies of maybe reducing tax on house developers. So the truth is that as a businessman, when you come into the real estate development sector, everything that you spend, you want to put it into whatever the cost of that construction will be before you talk about profit. So the reason why you see how when you want to buy a 4-bedroom flat in maybe GRA in Ilorin, they will tell you 150 million or they will tell you 100 million. It's because they have factored in the cost of construction, the cost of the property,
the building materials,
everything has been factored in to get to that amount. So if they are tax, maybe tax evasions or tax leverage, but the government is saying that if you are developing something for the masses, for example, the Kwara State government is saying, if you are developing for maybe the masses, or you are doing a maybe low income development, for every product you are going to be buying, you don't have to maybe pay tax on it. Or for the development, you are not going to pay tax on it, right? And then no government is coming to tell you that you must pay this amount, you must pay this building plan approval, you must pay this one. Because if I explain to you the process or the money that developers pay when it comes to construction, you will understand that even in Nigeria, real estate is still cheap. Even in Nigeria, real estate is still cheap. We are sorry that we have an economy like this, that it looks
Like
like
his bulk of the money going for taxes or securing the land.
so yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's all inclusive. So you can't segment one from the other. But everything, I know that a developer who is a businessman, when he's into construction, everything he has put into making that construction stand, when it is time to sell the house, he will make sure that he gets all his money back and also the profit. And that is why you see the cost of housing at this level.
Because even despite how expensive some of these luxury houses are, people are still buying them.
And so
People are still buying them. So should we say Nigerians should rather focus on productivity to be able to afford their personal productivity to be able to afford all these houses?
the truth is that there is already a dichotomy between the rich and the poor. And the truth is that real estate is not cheap. And that is the truth. So my counsel on these questions is that government should look at possible policies like easy access to land, affordable land, right? Tax evasion, public-private partnership, subsidizing of materials for developers. Look at all these things and then engage developers to build for the low-income earners in the state. And I know that Ogun State, for example, is doing a little bit of that. Now you go to the current administration in Ogun State have built about four mega housing projects of over 3,000 houses. And then those houses are for government workers, people who their salary may be 100,000, but come and get this house and pay over 20 years. And then we'll be removing an amount from your salary. But the truth is that we know that our populations, you understand, and as far as this elevation schemes are on ground, it's not everybody who will benefit. But we continue to do it and we continue to improve. And then I know that one day, very soon, we will get there.
Real estate in Lagos is one of the states that real estate developers always want to put their foot in. And since that is where your company is headquartered, let's come down to Ilorin.
Okay.
In terms of real estate, do you think Ilorin is evolving because you have more real estate developers here in Ilorin? You have them coming down to Ilorin now. Do you think real estate in Ilorin is evolving or we are still crawling?
Yeah, so it's evolving. Okay, it's evolving. I can tell you that even currently my company, we have 2 estates that we are currently developing
here in Ilorin.
In Kwara State, Ilorin. So we are building the first green city in Kwara State.
Where is that?
In Ilorin. That is in Okoko
Wisdom.
Ilorin. And the reason is because we know Ilorin when we came to Ilorin. And then you look at Ilorin now. You can see beautiful structures, more accessibility and all that. We are not there yet. We may not also be moving at the pace that we are supposed to move at. But the truth is that we are not where we used to be, right? Real estate development is evolving.
Because especially, let's appreciate the government of Kwara State for this urban renewal project. I think it's actually changing the face of Ilorin from what it used to be to what it is now.
Yeah.
And I believe it's going to get better.
It's going to get better.
Work is still in progress.
Yeah.
So let me ask on a final note, like this should be my second to last question. You were a politician, you're an entrepreneur. So what should we expect from passion in the nearest future? Do you have any plan of going to politics in the nearest future, or you've hanged your boots?
So I've been so much in the political terrain.
Okay.
And I just really understand that as a politician, if you must really do the bidding of the people, you must not take politics as your primary source of income. And that's one of the challenges we have today. Individuals with no traceable source of income come into political positions and believe that because of their existence in that position, they can get a livelihood from that. And I am not planning to be that kind of politician. I've made up my mind to do business and then grow my business, grow my empire to a level where the money I've made from business can now fund my political aspiration. So whether I win, whether I lose, it does not affect my source of livelihood. Yes, I know that my friends from school will tell you that Wisdom, he has always said he's going to be one day the governor of Kogi State. And that is an aspiration that I have always looked at.
At my day, was people like us are looking forward to.
I'm going to go a governor, right? But for now, at this stage of my life, I am really focused
on building your
hell-bent in business, building my business. I'm in entrepreneurship, right? And then we know that the political call may come very soon. Thank you.
So, on a final note, if you have 60 seconds to talk to proteges out there, what would they be? 60 seconds to talk to them. What would it be? Because you've told the parts, you've built the brand, you've written a book about it. So what would it be that you talk to them? These are still coming up. They're still trying to find their things and all.
So I want to talk to young personnel, mentees and proteges as a brother. I want to tell you that nobody will be interested in your life as much as you. I have seen a lot of young people put their hope on uncles, feel like because my uncle is here, this person is here and all that, I'm going to make it in life. I have come to give you a bad news that nobody can help you to make it apart from yourself. So you must first make up your mind that I am not going to be small. I might be small today. I'm not going to be small. Take your life in your hands. Give it all it requires to achieve success. And trust me, the sky is going to be your starting point. Determination, vision, passion, trust me, will always bring provision. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the show with a man who has been able to build with vision and inspire with intention. Comrade Okoko Wisdom, popularly addressed as Passion. He is the co-founder of Orbit Africa Properties. Thank you for joining us on this show, Comrade Okoko Wisdom. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to having you on yet another invitation.
No, I'll be so honored.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.